Pretty much every single week, like clockwork, I can expect the following question to make its way into my DMs or my inbox. But Paige, if I niche right away, won't I be narrowing the pool, making it even harder to find paying clients? And that is totally a valid question. Now, the fear of not being able to land enough clients to pay the bills is very, very real when you're first starting out. But I wanted to give you some real life glimpses at just how powerful niching can be for new or struggling designers trying to find a way to fill their calendar with design clients. And I cannot think of a better example of really niching early than my lovely past student and designer, Charlotte Duckworth. Are you ready to learn how Charlotte was able to quickly fill her calendar for the entire year as a brand spanking new website designer and quickly bump up her web designer rates as well? You do not want to miss out on this chat. But before I hit play on the interview, if you're currently finding yourself struggling to grow your business and finally start landing those elusive, dreamy, ideal clients, then I recorded a free training just for you. It is called Finding Clients as a New Designer, the 7 Costly Mistakes to Avoid. In it, I share exactly how to set your business up so that the right clients are finding you. Now, you can find the link to the free training right here, but I'll also pop that link for you in the description below too. All right, Charlotte, can you share with us what were you doing before you became a website designer?
Oh, okay. So I've had a lot of different jobs. I initially trained as a journalist, working for interior design magazines. And then when I was working in magazines, I did actually used to help out quite a lot on the websites for the magazines because everyone in publishing was very anti-websites because they were taking all the traffic. But I was quite interested. So I have always sort of been involved with websites, but not building them. I was more like providing the content. So writing the features and stuff. And then after that, I ran a digital marketing agency for a little bit. So I did content marketing for interior design companies and social media, but I really don't enjoy doing social media for other people. Just not my thing. I don't know. Yeah. And then I sold that business when I got pregnant, and then I had my baby, and then I was kind of like a bit clueless because obviously journalism has sort of died a bit of a death. Well, it's just very difficult to make decent money these days. It's quite, it's very competitive and there's not a huge amount of money in it anymore. So I didn't really know what to do. And I was writing novels, which I've always done. And that was kind of my dream. So I did write a novel when I was on maternity leave, which actually got published. So that was great. So I got a book deal first time, which was amazing. But the thing about book deals is it's amazing, obviously, having a published novel, but the income is very unreliable. And when you get a book deal, it's sort of spread over, you get like one payment up front and then another one like 6 months later, another one a year later. And it's all kind of quite sporadic. And also authors do not earn as much as people think they do, unless they're J.K. Rowling. Everyone assumes you're loaded. And yeah, the majority of authors are really struggling. So I knew I had to do something else alongside it. And I know a lot of authors, and I realized that not many of them were very comfortable using technology, and lots of them have terrible websites. So I thought, well, I've always enjoyed doing websites, and I obviously did my own, and I thought maybe I could offer this as a service to do it for other people. And I started looking at doing like a coding course. So I was like Googling to see if there was like local courses near me, and they all just seemed really dry. And I thought, is this actually going to help me with design? I think, well, there's two things in website, isn't there? There's obviously like the technical side of it, but then there's also the design and making it look good. And I didn't just want to learn code because I thought that's not really going to help me. So I've always loved Squarespace, and I was just Googling for Squarespace courses because I thought actually Squarespace is great for authors because it's super easy for people to use. And so, yeah, that's how I found you and your course. And I was like, this is amazing. It's exactly what I wanted. So I did the initial Square Secrets first, and then after I finished that in like a week because it was so great, I bought the business course. And then
That's amazing.
yeah, so that was, oh sorry, I've totally just like jumped ahead there.
No, that's good. That's perfect. I love that. Yeah. And this is something which I find is really, really frequent now. So I did not expect this when I started the courses, but the number of women who are like, I had a baby or I got pregnant. And then I realized like, oh, my old job is like not going to work with this situation. So it's really interesting that you found the same thing as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely thing to do around having a child. And I do a lot of my web design in the evenings when she's older now, but when she's in bed. And you know, the thing I like the best is that you can do it in front of the TV. And that sounds awful. But it's so nice. Like, I find that quite relaxing, just sitting down with my computer, building a website, TV's on, and I'm sort of half watching, but yeah, it's very flexible, which is brilliant. So
that's great. That's really good. Okay. So yeah, interesting that you thought, and again, very common. People are always like, oh, if I want to be a website designer, I need to learn how to code. So you skipped the coding courses. Have you taken anything since, or you're like, what Square Secrets and Square Secrets business was enough for what you wanted to do? Or
every now and then I think about doing one, because you do get some clients that want really specific things. And this is one thing I do struggle with, is telling people, sorry, Squarespace doesn't do that, without it sounding like I can't do it. I get a bit, you know, trying to explain to people that it has its limitations. But to be honest, I haven't needed to, because the things that people have wanted, I've always managed to find. You know, the forums on Squarespace itself are really helpful, and you know, like, you can Google code, there's like snippets you can find all over the place. So yeah, I mean, one day, I mean, I would, just because I'm interested, but not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not because you like have to. Yeah, I think that's a big common misconception. And same thing with me. I was never like a strong coder. I can find myself my way around code, and I can tweak things here and there and everything. But it's not that I'm sitting there like literally writing it from scratch. I'm often finding snippets or plugins online and everything. Or worst comes to worst, you can hire someone for like a half an hour and they can just fix it for you very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And there's loads of great like people that you can buy. Yeah, like you said, the plugins are really good. So
yes,
use a few of them.
Yeah, good. Okay, yeah. So then actually, will that answer my next question? Was what inspired you to take Square Secrets business? So you took Square Secrets, and you're like, okay, I've got the website building down. Did you have any imposter syndrome, thinking about like, wow, I'm going to take a course on being a website designer? Or
yeah, I did, and I still do. It's weird. I think because I didn't do it at not university. I don't know what you would do at university to become a web designer, but I mean, it's strange. I think this is probably my own hang up though, because I worked in interior design magazines, and I did work with lots of graphic designers who designed the pages, and like stylists. I've worked with lots of very graphic, like, you know, kind of visual people, and I'm more of a words person. So I still find, excuse me, I do still find that I feel a bit like I've got imposter syndrome, but then I get such great feedback, and everyone's so nice, and they're all like, oh, you're so visual, you're so good at design. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm a words person. But I think the brilliant thing about Squarespace is that it's pretty hard to make a website look rubbish. you know, but the more you do, obviously, the more feedback I've had, the more confidence. It's just a confidence thing over time, isn't it? Like, you just have to do more of it.
Yes, it takes courage to get started, and then after that, once you do it, then it builds the confidence that you need. Yeah,
100%.
And then can you talk about how long did it take you to go through the 2 different courses?
I did it really fast. So I think I did the first one in honestly a week, maybe 10 days, because I was building my site at the same time, and I was obsessed. And I think I've told you this before, my other half was like, oh, is that Paige again? Because he could hear you in the background. Like, it was just like listening. I was like, shush, don't talk over Paige, I'm listening. It's easy. I should have probably got some headphones. It was a bit mean, but like, he'd be watching TV and I'd be sitting there going, shut up, turn it down, try to listen. So yeah, I did it in about 10 days. And then then I was kind of on the fence, because I've run my own business before. I thought, well, I don't know if I need a business course, because like I literally ran a PR company. We had staff, so you know, I knew all the sort of tax and stuff, and obviously I'm in the UK, so it might be slightly different, but it was more for the process. I thought that's actually really helpful, because I'd never run a web design project, obviously, and all of that stuff I thought would be really useful, and it like 100% was, just like all the questionnaires and that kind of thing, and how to work with clients and like get the right information out of them. So yeah, it was, I think that one quite quickly afterwards. I mean, I literally bought it straight away, I think. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, great. Yeah, I've had a lot of people do that. They maybe have run businesses before, or other types of businesses, but it's very much so like there's so many done for you resources that it just makes it so much faster to take it. Good. Okay. And then I love talking about your marketing strategy and how you get clients, because I think this is one of the best examples. And I use this example frequently of like nailing a niche and then just having clients just come out of everywhere. So can you talk about what is your niche and how did you find your first clients and then your clients that you have now?
Yeah, so my niche is authors, and I only build websites for authors. And I should say primarily published authors, or authors with a book deal, like debut authors, so they've got something coming out. And I obviously, as an author myself, knew a lot of authors, so that did help massively. But I think I got my first clients through a Facebook group I'm in, which is for authors. And I just said, I'm thinking of doing this. Would anyone be interested? And, you know, I'll do it for sort of discounted rate. I personally don't believe in doing things for free. It's just, I feel like people value you more if they're paying for you. So I never offered anything for free, but I did do it for pretty cheap. I think it was like £200 or something. And I said, oh, you know, I'll build your site. And I had loads of people interested in actually too many. So that was a bit annoying. So I sort of did, like, I said, I can only do 3 because I was like, I'm not going to do all your websites. And then that really helped because obviously they were like my first ones. And I said, can you please do me a testimonial? I was quite specific. I was quite bossy, actually. I was like, if I'm doing your website, you need to give me a testimonial. You need to let me put you on my portfolio. You know, can't be sort of a secret, and had my link at the bottom and stuff. So yeah, I did the first 3 and then they were really happy. And then I started doing a lot of content marketing. So I started even before I started building websites. I was blogging like consistently every week. I did a lot of free things. So I wrote a whole ebook, which was like 11,000 words, I think, with a friend, which was all about like getting a book deal and like dealing with the kind of pressure of having a book deal, because I know it sounds like a great thing, but it's also quite a weird time. So I teamed up with a friend and we just wrote this thing, which was really popular. I think it's called the Debut Author's Survival Guide. So I tweeted, sorry, there's a fly in here, go away. I tweeted about that and then I got a lot of downloads. So that got people on my mailing list. And then I was kind of doing consistent newsletters. But yeah, blogging weekly was the main thing, and then sharing it in that Facebook group. And I was very careful that nothing was too promotional. So it was always very helpful information rather than me sort of pushing. And I'll be honest, I had to stop blogging because I got too many inquiries. So I'm not marketing at the moment because I just get so many inquiries and I can't handle it. And I don't really want to, like, obviously I could go a stage further and start getting staff and like build a business, but because I'm also writing, that's not what I want for my business. So I want it to be like a sideline. So I'm trying to keep it sort of a bit smaller than it could probably be. In fact, I know it could be bigger. So I don't know if I've just rambled there.
No, that's perfect. I don't even know where I want to go from here. Yeah. So it's amazing that, you chose your niche, you offered something for a discounted price. And then the other thing, can you talk about the blog posts that you're writing? So often people are talking about writing blog posts, but you write very specific blog posts to your people. Can you talk about like an example of a blog post that you would write that would attract the right like niche client to you?
Yeah, so I think the most popular one I did was why Squarespace is better than WordPress for authors. Because a lot of authors use WordPress, I think, just because it's what they've heard of. But you know, I've used WordPress loads in the past, and it's great if you like technology. But if you don't like technology, it's a flipping nightmare because it's constantly changing, and you've got to keep on top of stuff. So so that was one that was really popular because a lot of authors had WordPress websites that they were fed up with. So that kind of got a lot of traffic. And then I also did the perfect template. I think it's something like the perfect Squarespace template for authors. And that's, I wouldn't say gone viral, but I have good SEO on that. So I get a lot of hits, I think, probably because there aren't that many specific like Squarespace posts for authors, if you see what I mean, with those keywords in. But then I would do things like why you should have a mailing list, all that kind of stuff. But it was all author focused. So nothing generic, very specific to why it was good for writers and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I did SEO. I was just kind of any topic I could think of that I thought would be useful. Yeah, I was kind of consistent, and it was all very practical information and nothing pushy. Like I said, I think people can smell that a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I feel like also like the English in you, maybe also, I feel like English people are very like not as like marketing and salesy as like us Americans are. So yes.
That is true. And it's really interesting because I would say my mailing list now is pretty much half US and half UK. And up until recently, I only had UK clients, and now I'm getting American clients. And then it's so different. It's so interesting. They're yeah. But they're very polite. They're very polite. They're much more polite than but yeah.
Interesting. So good. Okay. Yeah. So you started in about like fall 2019.
Yes.
And you actually kind of like launched the business in like beginning January 2020. Yeah. Okay. So pandemic start.
Between September and like Christmas, I was doing the ones for a discount.
Yes.
And then I launched properly in the January. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, good. And then can you talk about from there, how did bookings go? And again, I think you were really using this Facebook group primarily at the beginning, right? How long did it take you to be like booking your calendar with clients?
It was pretty immediate, actually. Yeah, from the January. I think because I built these three kind of discounted ones, and they all talk to their friends. I mean, it's all, a lot of it's word of mouth, obviously, but I would say in that between January and Easter, I was slightly more worried and thinking, oh, am I going to book people? And then by the summer, I was just completely booked for the rest of the year. And then by like, you know, Christmas last year, I was booked for pretty much all of this year. I'm booked for all this year. So it was quite quick. And I think the good thing is that obviously once you've built a few, I do get quite a lot of inquiries from people seeing other people's websites and seeing who built them. And I was really, I mean, in a way I was lucky that I did build some websites for some really successful authors, which helps. So other people are I mean, one of my authors gets so much traffic. She's like super mega successful. So I think people saw her website and were like, oh, who built it? And then they came to me. So that really helped too. But that wasn't a deliberate strategy. That was just luck, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quick, but I was very consistent. I was marketing all the time. Like I said, I was blogging literally every week. I was sending a monthly newsletter, and I was sharing everything on social media. So very consistent. And the blogging thing, I think, massively helps because I was getting a lot of organic traffic.
Yeah. Plus, I guess it plays to your strengths because you like writing anyways. You're an author.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it did definitely help. And I started introducing a lot of I did some video training things and just like extras sort of. So every time I did like what do they call them? Lead magnet, I suppose.
Yep.
Then I would be, you know, I'd be sharing that, and I got a lot of support. It's really, I think it really helps being part of a community. So if you can really find a niche that is something that you're actually passionate about too, because I think people can see if you're authentic. And obviously I'm authentic because I love writing and I love authors, and a lot of them are, you know, it's a great community. So if you can find something like that you're interested in, I should say, if anyone likes dolls houses, all the dolls house people I know, because I'm really into dolls houses, have horrendous websites. So that would be my next niche, but I'm not going to do it because I haven't got time. So if anyone
dolls houses, so it's like people who make doll houses,
or people who make miniatures, basically. So there's a huge community, and it's massive in America, of people who make miniature furniture, like really talented craftsmen, and like because I have a doll's house here. There it is.
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
So I'm obsessed, and I'm constantly, I mean, it cost me an absolute fortune, but the websites these people have are horrendous, and there's so many brilliant like artisans in America, and I can't order because their websites aren't e-commerce, and I keep thinking this is a massive niche, but yeah.
There we go. Free niche for whoever wants it. Can you talk about what are the packages and the prices that you currently have on offer?
Okay, so at the moment I have three. And then I've introduced one sort of secretly, like soft launched it. So I haven't really talked about it much. So I have like a one-page website, which is the cheapest thing apart from this other thing I'll talk about. And then I have like a mid-range one, which is pretty much bog standard website. So I do it on how many books people have published, because I've realized over time, like that's the biggest determiner of how long it will take me. So if they've got like 10 books, I have had an author that she had like 12, and it took me forever because obviously each book has its own page and it's got to build it and all the quotes. And so I realized that I should go on that really as a kind of how much they should be paying. So then I have like a kind of higher rate package, which is very expensive, and that's for people who are very established. So like successful authors who've been writing for years and have a lot of books. And that's £3,000. So that's kind of like but most people pick the middle package. And my sister's a wedding photographer, and she told me years ago that you should always, like, people usually go to the middle. So you need the kind of cheap and the most expensive, and then the middle one is the one that most people will pick, because it's almost like I don't know.
It's some like pricing psychology or something.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely true. But because I was getting so many inquiries, I put my price up quite a lot, because basically I just couldn't do everything, and I thought, well, this is dumb, I might as well, it sounds awful, but maximize this. So I did raise my prices, and then I got a few people saying, oh, I can't afford you, but I'd really like you to build my website. So what I'm sort of soft launching, and I've done a few over the summer, is a one-day website. So people pay me like £600, but they don't get any say. So they basically send me their content, I send them a website, I don't train them because I actually don't enjoy that bit so much, and they can't have any changes. So they're basically trusting me, because a lot of authors are not that design. They're not actually that interested really. They just want it fixed. They're just like, I need a website. I want one that looks nice, but I don't have a clue where to start. So it kind of almost takes the pressure off them if I just say, look, I trust me, I'll build you a nice website that will be the best that I can think of for your book. But you can't sort of feedback changes and stuff. Yeah. And I've done a few, and that's just it's a dream. So easy.
Yeah, I think that's great. So yeah, you find that the one day website, £600, that's just like a perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do more of that, because there's no real back and forward, because obviously I send them the same, like a similar questionnaire but slightly less detailed, and they send me their content, and I say I'm not going to source any images for you, because there was a little bit of that, like some authors, they don't really understand stuff, and they'll be like, oh, can you make me this graphical, and I'd be like, yeah, I can, it's but it's kind of, I get a bit, that stuff takes time. So with this one, I'm like, you have to provide everything. I'm not going to create anything for you. I'm just going to basically build your Squarespace site from whatever you send. Yeah. So yeah, and I think in a way, like I said, it takes pressure off them, because they know they can't give you any feedback, so they just go, I love it, because it's like and I said, obviously if you hate it, that's fine, but you'll have to pay me my hourly rate to make changes. So
that's great. I love that. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah. So £600 for the one day option, up to like 3,000 for the full, really big author website.
Yes.
And then how long does the biggest package tend to take you?
It depends. So I want to do everything in 2 weeks, but if it's an author with loads of books, then yeah, I would go to 3 weeks. That's kind of my maximum. I don't want to spend any longer on it. I think, like you, I really prefer working intensely on one thing at a time. I don't like having lots of things going on at once, like little bits of things. So
100%. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally, I don't know, it's too much in my brain to like have ongoing projects and a bunch of clients needing me and stuff. It's like, okay, I feel like I would also really love like one day, like VIP day, whatever you want to call it, just going in, doing it, finish it off, hand it back to them. And that's amazing. And also just so much flexibility in terms of like, you're like, okay, I'm on vacation for like half of this week or taking a long weekend. Okay, I can't do a whole project there, but I could fit in like 3 one-day websites or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I did over the holidays when my daughter was in holiday camp. I just did them on the day she was in. And I actually did them the night before. I don't know if I've told you this. I usually do it the night before, pretend I'm doing it on the day. I'm doing it in front of the telly.
Get a head start just in case.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do like to know, sort of. I want to be, I've never had I think it would be stressful if you were suddenly like, God, and I was supposed to hand it over at 5 p.m. and I'm actually tied myself in a knot. So it's nice to know what you're doing. But yeah, that's worked really well. So I'm quite keen to do more of that.
That's great. Okay. And then can you talk about what does a typical day in your work life look like?
So there is no, same as you, there's no real typical day. I would say if I'm doing a project, then I usually do the homepage on the Monday, although I probably start it on Sunday, send it to them by the end of the Monday. And then they get the chance to, comment on the homepage and if they like it, etc., or any changes they want. This is if I'm doing a normal website. And then I will say, okay, fine. And we'll kind of go back and forth till we've agreed the homepage. And then I will build the rest of the site and send that to them on the Friday. So they've got the weekend to send me the changes by the Monday. And then we keep going until the following Friday where we would launch. So a typical day, I would say, for me, the Mondays are the kind of intense days, because that's the day when I'm really like working on the websites. And then when they send the changes over, I'll usually fit that around other things I'm doing. So either marketing or, obviously my own writing. I try to write 2,000 words of my own books a day as well. So that's my biggest priority in a way, because it's, it's the thing that is easiest to not do, I suppose, when people are waiting for you. Whereas when you're writing novels, my editor, but she doesn't know what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So I have to be quite disciplined with that, or it's so easy not to do it. So yeah, it's kind of a mishmash, but I do work in the evenings, but that's because I like work. Work is my relaxation. So, but I could fit it all in the day if I wanted to. I'm kind of always, my brain's always going, so I'm always thinking of new things. And
That's great. And do you find, does this work well with being an author and being a mom? Is this like you're able to do that? Because so many times people are asking like, oh, I have this other commitment, or I'm in school still, or I'm doing this other whatever. Is this something that is possible to work around those other things?
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I said, with the course itself, I did it all in the evenings. I was obsessed. Like I just, it was what I wanted to do. It's just, I mean, if you enjoy this kind of thing, it's just so satisfying. And it's completely flexible. Obviously, my daughter's in school during the day, so that helps. I don't really work when she's awake. So when she's here at home, I'll do her dinner and stuff and she goes to bed. So yeah, you can, and I work a lot of the weekends, but I don't mind. Like I've been freelance for a long time, so I actually really love being kind of flexible and just fitting things around what I want. And this summer, for example, I haven't done very much work. I haven't had any editing to do for my novel, so that's been good. And then with my daughter, like I said, I just did these one-day websites when she was in camp, and the rest of the time we've been away. So I've been traveling and visiting people, and I've definitely had at least a good 5 weeks off, really, with the odd day working. So, and then, yeah, it's a totally different mindset, I think, from a normal job where it's 9 to 5.
100%. Absolutely. Okay, good. And then can you talk about how does your life look now versus before you took the courses and before you became a website designer?
Oh, so the main thing is that I'm not worried about money in the same way that I was. So I know that if I need to earn money, all I need to do is ramp up obviously, like I said, I am booked up. So I've sort of kind of, I've pulled back a bit on the marketing just because I was overwhelmed. But I know now if I suddenly was like, oh, I want to pay for a holiday, I'll just do a massive marketing push, get a few more websites booked in, do more than I'm doing. I've sort of dropped down to doing 1 to 2 a month because I just didn't want to be like constantly working and not having time for the books. So it is a juggle, but the nice thing is that I know I've got a career. Like it feels like a career. Like I feel if nobody ever published my novels again, that's fine. I could be a website designer full time because I just need to do more and get more people in. But yeah, does that sound a bit weird? But
that's the dream.
And it is the dream. And I actually feel quite guilty because I have a lot of author friends, and they're all sort of, a lot of authors have other jobs, and they'll be doing things like teaching, or they'll be doing manuscript reports, and it's so badly paid, and they're all just like, you just nailed it with that web design stuff. And I'm like, well, you could do it too, although secretly please don't, because I don't no, but actually I did have somebody, an author I know, she basically copied me, and that was really weird. She just ripped off my entire web design business, set it all up, like literally to the point where she was obviously like repurposing my blog posts. And I was like hacked off for about 5 minutes, and I just thought, well, do you know what? It's fine. Like, and actually she was building on WordPress. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then.
It just showed, no, it was just quite interesting. So I was like, oh wow, like, obviously people do think I've made it, and I do. I feel like this is I'll sound really awful, but it's like I'm so chuffed because it's just such a great compliment to writing, and it's a lovely job as well because you get to work with people and they're usually really happy. And
great. But yes, it becomes a problem. The more successful you get, the more you find strange, creepily similar copies of your website over like at other places. You're like, I think I wrote that myself, actually.
That's the thing is, and I had it when I did my PR business too, like literally again 2 other people set up exactly the same thing. I thought, well, it's imitation, the sincerest form of flattery, and if you're the first in there and you're the most passionate and you do the best work, you'll win out. So
you stand out, absolutely. Like I think it shows who was the original.
yeah.
Okay, good. Can you share any encouraging words for any new designers who want to do something similar to what you've done?
Oh yeah, it's encouraging words. Let me think. The main thing I would say is you got to love it, but obviously most people, I think, if they got to this stage, will realize it's something they would really enjoy. But also just always be positive. And I know it's hard sometimes, and the comparison thing is really difficult. But if you're consistent and positive and you do good work, this is what I think is the most important thing, is that the stuff I've always provided a really good service to everybody I've worked for, even the really annoying people. And that really pays off. Like you get a good reputation and then people recommend you. And I think, like be authentic, find something you're really interested in and passionate about, and kind of involve yourself in that community of those people, because then you can talk to them on a different level. Because a lot of authors I've worked with had gone to sort of bog standard web designers who do lots of different web sites, and obviously they just don't really understand what an author's life is like. So I think if it's something that you're passionate about, learn as much as you can about that industry and the challenges those people are facing, and be specific when you're, you know, marketing to them, and generous. Always be generous in everything, I think. Yeah, but just keep going, and you have to be consistent. I think that's the thing. It's very easy to give up, and I've had so many blogs in the past for other things, and you know, I've given up after a couple of months, because it is tough sometimes when you're like, oh, I just don't want to write another blog post. But if you are consistent, it really, really pays off. So yeah, just keep going.
I can second that, definitely. It's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, your blog's amazing, and that's the thing. I literally had to stop because I was like, I can't deal with all the traffic, and that's a high class problem. But
that's an amazing problem. Yeah.
I feel
dream problem.
I know. I didn't send a newsletter in the summer either, because I was like, I just don't want the replies. Sorry, that's awful. I'm going to get back into it in September.
I love that. That's great. Okay, and then final question. Could you help out? What would you say to anyone who's on the fence about taking Square Secrets business?
Oh my God, it's amazing. Like, don't be on the fence, because there's just so much value, and I still come back to it even now. You know, I'll log in every now and then. I think, oh, hang on, I want to check that thing, and just, it's very helpful and reassuring when you can see somebody else has done something and they're giving you the exact kind of formula that they used. That's what I found really, and you are very generous with what you share, and I think that's amazing, really. And so yeah, you won't feel like you're being shortchanged. And I've done a lot of online courses, and some of them are really like feeble. The content's like, there's like 5% of value in there, and a lot of just marketing, just more nothing, just noise basically, or stuff that's obvious. And I definitely didn't think that with this course. It was 100% worth it, and I wouldn't be doing this interview otherwise, because yeah, you know, time is money. But I was like, oh no, I'm totally happy to help out Paige, because it, you know, it did change my life. So yes, get off the fence basically.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's so good. So I hope you found that video helpful. A huge, huge thank you to Charlotte for sharing her experience with niching right away in her business. Now, if you are dreaming of doing what Charlotte has done and you are ready to build a fully booked out web design business serving a niche group of clients that you're actually passionate about, then I invite you to join her and 3,000 other happy past students inside my Square Secrets and Square Secrets business courses. You can find out when enrollment is open next by visiting paigebrunton.com/courses, or by clicking right here. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to let me know per usual by hitting the like button. And remember, for the best tips on building a web design business that you love, don't forget to subscribe and tap the little bell button so you'll be notified when new content drops on the channel every single week. Now, if you're wondering what to watch next, I suggest checking out these videos too.